This Null Knowledge tutorial will give you tools to evaluate the sources you find during your research so that you can make sure that the resources you choose to trust and use are the best fit for your unique goals and purposes. Before you begin researching, you should think about and define your own goals and purposes for researching. Are you wanting information due to personal interest, or is this for an academic assignment? Are you looking for a historical perspective, or do you want the latest information? Are you interested in learning about a minority viewpoint, or are you looking for consensus? Each research project will have its own unique goals and needs. Understanding and defining your information needs for each project is vital to successfully finding the right resources for you. Often, the way we think about our information needs fall into a few categories. We want information that is up to date, applicable to our topic and information needs, written by someone who knows the topic, and we want correct information. These are all essential to making sure that the information source we are evaluating is reliable. In an academic setting, we have specific terms we use to describe these criteria. Rather than thinking about materials as strictly up to date or not, in an academic context, we think about currency. When was the information published or created? The criteria for what is a good fit for currency can change based on your topic. For many disciplines, you want to look for items published in the last 5 years. For a project on an older event or examining a historic perspective, older works may be what you need. When looking for resources that are applicable to your topic, we think about relevancy. Is this resource talking about what I'm researching? Since one of the reasons we do research is to grow our collective knowledge on a topic, you may not always find articles written on the exact topic you are researching. However, resources that discuss the topic in general, provide background information, or speak to an aspect of your research topic can all be relevant to building your knowledge of the topic to allow you to synthesize information and build a unique understanding of the topic. Authority is the term used academically when thinking about who created the resource you are evaluating. Are they knowledgeable on the topic? How do you know? Do they have experience, degrees, or other credentials that would give them the knowledge to speak on the topic? Is this item produced, sponsored, or published by a professional, governmental, or otherwise trustworthy and relevant organization? Looking for clues in URLs, contact information, About Us pages, and author biographies can help you make these determinations. When looking for resources, it's important that the information in the resource is correct or accurate. While we cannot always independently verify every piece of information in a source, a reasonable idea of whether a source is accurate can be determined by asking questions like, where does their information come from? Does their evidence support their conclusions? Is this source peer-reviewed or edited so that more than one person verified the information before it was published? Do their information and conclusions line up with that of other sources? Did they take the time to present the information carefully and professionally, editing out spelling, grammar, and typographical errors? An answer of yes to these questions is a good indication that the information in the source is accurate. There are 2 more factors to consider when evaluating the information sources you find when researching: perspective and purpose. Purpose refers to the reason an author or organization has created a resource. Common purposes include entertainment, education, information, and persuasion. Communicating the purpose of the resource clearly and honestly is a good sign of a trustworthy source. If a source's purpose is to educate, inform, or persuade, it's important to determine if the information that is presented is fact, opinion, or propaganda. While opinion and propaganda may be relevant or interesting, only objective, fact-based sources should be trusted as an information source. The perspective from which a resource is created is also important to keep in mind. Objective sources are the best source of information, but can sometimes be difficult to find. Peer review and professional editing are both good systems that have developed to help ensure that the information in a source is accurate and unbiased. But they are not the only factors to consider when thinking about the author's perspective. You should also consider how the author or publisher relates to the topic discussed in the source. If you do determine that there may be bias from the author or publisher, how does that affect the accuracy or scope of the information provided? Every author and every publisher will have their own perspective and will likely have some personal or professional interest in the topic. This doesn't mean that the source is unreliable. It is just as important to evaluate how fairly and objectively an author treats the topic as it is to determine what perspective the author uses to approach the topic. The criteria we've just discussed is known as the CRAP test. It was originally developed in the early 2000s by librarians at California State University, Chico. However, it's only one way to evaluate sources. Other effective methods exist and can help you as you go even deeper into evaluating a source to make sure it is the right fit. One such method is the SIFT method by Mike Caulfield. SIFT stands for Stop, Investigate the Source, Find Better Coverage, Trace claims, quotes, and media to the original context. The idea of tracing claims, quotes, and media to the original context is especially important when evaluating online sources. Words, media, and images are sometimes taken out of context, and contextual or clarifying information can be easily left out by editing or cropping, either accidentally or on purpose. Knowing that your source accurately understood and correctly represented their sources and information is key to determining the reliability and trustworthiness of the author, publisher, and resource. Some good ways to do this are to check the date a source was originally published, to cross-check with other sources, to click through links, or to do your own search to check out their sources, and to determine if your source is conveying information and context accurately. Keep in mind that no source is perfect. Each researcher will need to use a custom balance of all the criteria discussed here to make their own determination on whether a source is trustworthy enough and a good fit for their unique information needs. Evaluating sources takes time and effort, but knowing you can trust the information in your resources is essential to producing quality academic work and to making well-informed decisions and opinions outside of the classroom. Please keep in mind that you don't have to figure this out on your own. Both your professor and librarians are available to help you navigate and evaluate your sources. You can book a one-on-one appointment with a librarian or reach out via phone, email, or chat to get help figuring out if our resource is trustworthy and a good fit for your needs.